crack myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's.
That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots.
That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychaud's or Peychaud's or Peychaud.
This is not what I expected.
All right, we're here. What a night. I'll tell you what. Oh, what a night. I walked like 14,000 steps today. Went to this meeting that I thought would be over by 7:30, and lo and behold, I'm just getting back. And then my apparatus died, and I had to switch things around. So anyway, we're gonna do some drinking, is what we're gonna do, and that's that. All right. So a few weeks ago, we did the Green River, and I thought it was a little bit thin on the mouthfeel, but I liked the flavor of it. That opened really easy. And then somebody told me that they liked the wheated better, so we're going to do the wheated tonight. Similar story to the original. By the way, the mouthfeel on the original did get a lot better in weeks after I first opened it. It took me a couple of weeks to go through that bottle. And every time I sipped on it, I liked it a little bit better. The viscosity got a little bit better. The mouthfeel got a little bit better, a little more buttery. It actually turned into a really nice pour, and I do like the Green River a lot. So now we're going to try the wheated. I don't have a lot more information about it. I'll just go back and recap some of the things we talked about with the Green River before. J.W. McCullough founded the distillery in 1885. 1913, Green River became the official whiskey of the U.S. Marine Hospital, maintained that for 18 years. 1918, the distillery burned down, took 40,000 barrels of whiskey with it. Distillery was rebuilt in 1933, post-Prohibition. And 22 years later, they closed down. That's how it stayed until 1993, 38 years later. When the facility was bought. Then it was completely abandoned after that until 2014. In 2020, the distillery went back to its original name, and after being purchased by Bardstown in 2022, Green River finally started making it out to shelves around the nation. So the mash bill on the original Green River, oh, I forgot I finished it. The mash bill on the original Green River is 70% corn, 21% winter rye, 9% malted 2 and 6 row barley. The mash bill on the wheated, on the other hand, is similar. It's 70% Kentucky grown corn. Instead of the winter rye, it's 21% wheat and 9% malted barley. So the barley is still there, malted 2 and 6 row barley. It's just that the winter rye is replaced with 21% wheat. So, and I wish I had the two here to compare, but I do think I think I finished that. I think I finished that other one. So, okay. I don't get to go back and do any kind of comparison whatsoever. Shame on me. All right. So let's just get into it because we're late. It's a late Bourbcast. I didn't mean it to be this late. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is the Green River. Now, the reason I'm doing this one today, while this rests and while this breathes a little bit after I like to wait a couple of minutes. While this rests, so last week we talked a little bit about the E.H. Taylor and the Smoke Wagon small batch and how people are putting those back to back and saying that the small batch is beating the E.H. Taylor. Well, we talked about that last week. In fact, that the mash bills aren't anywhere close to each other. So to compare them is rather unfair, but people are doing it. So, okay. When we figure out other ones that we're going to compare to E.H. Taylor, that Smoke Wagon small batch will be a part of it. We're doing this one tonight because, quite frankly, I am seeking out a replacement for Weller. And I'm not just talking about this one, but I'm also talking about this one. I'm seeking replacements for it because I hear from people all the time that all they want to drink is Weller. And all they want to chase is Weller. Of course, this one, it's currency. And it doesn't deserve to be, in my purview, but you can't get it anywhere else, really, a lot of times. So it's become currency, and ridiculously so, I might add. And I'm not a fan of all that stuff. I don't get into that secondary market. It's illegal, first of all, in the state of Ohio. I don't take part in it. I don't. But anyhow, so I actually think this is a better pour right off the neck than the red. Now the red, let this sit a month after you've poured it, after you got it off the neck and shoulders, and it becomes very, very good. I will say that. But anyway, people are always looking for, not if you're a trader, but if you're looking to sip on this, like I talk to a lady all the time, all she wants is Weller. And when she gets it from one store, then she'll go to the next store and see if she can get some more. I swear that's all she drinks, and she won't listen to anything else, any other alternatives. So I'm trying to find an alternative to Weller. And what's going to happen is I'm going to open these at some point, and I think I've already reviewed these, but I'll go through my database and see if I reviewed them. And if not, we'll add them into a review. And then we're going to put this one back to back with one of these or both of these and see if it's a worthy replacement. Because I tried to think that maybe Bernheim was, and it isn't. Bernheim is very, very good, but it's not a replacement for Weller. And neither is the Old Elk Wheated because of the price. I love the Old Elk Wheated, but it's really pricey. And there's other ones as well. Larceny just isn't, it's not a replacement for Weller. And Banker's Mark is definitely not a replacement for Weller. So I'm looking for that replacement. And maybe this is it. And we'll find out when I finally do a back-to-back. And we'll do that right here. Right? You get to see that. All right. Sorry. Ooh, already I got some nose on that because I really agitated that. Not the same nose as Weller, so this may not be a worthy competitor. But let's tell you what, I'm getting a little bit more of an astringency on this. Now this is a fresh crack. It's right off the neck. So it's going to give me some astringency off the top. That's why I'm trying to agitate it a little bit. I'm going to agitate it. All right. All right, what am I getting? That astringent is there, but it's not a harsh astringent like I get sometimes, which is nice. Little licorice on the nose, believe it or not. Cinnamon. But the licorice is, to me, stronger than the cinnamon. Strong vanilla note. Something a little bit fruity, maybe... No, that's the licorice. It's not fruit. You know how licorice can sometimes disguise itself and almost seem a little fruity? No, there's a blackberry note in there. Okay. All right, see if I'm missing anything. Spencer's watching. Hey, Larry's watching. Aaron's watching. Thank you for coming on with me so late. I didn't intend for this to be so late, but it is, and I appreciate it. And Monday night's my night to do this, and then I'm going to go to bed. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm really tired. All right. Okay. Maybe a very, very slight, granola note. Okay. The bloom doesn't do a whole lot. It sits up on the roof of my mouth. This is 90 proof. It does have a better mouthfeel than the original, than the other Green River. Just on the palate, it's a little softer, but it has a little bit more of a silkiness. It's got more body to it, just a little. But it's enough to make a difference to me. Now let's see if I can get some tasting done for you. See what I taste. See what hits the senses. A little bit of a honey note. This is not a replacement for Weller. Weller is a lot softer. It's tough to describe. This might be closer to a Weller 107, but I'd have to crack the Weller 107, and I'm not prepared to do that tonight. I'm getting warnings on my computer here that keep popping up. So we're going to keep this kind of short, I think. Yeah. Encoding overloaded. Interesting. Maybe I'm just too much personality for it. I tried to get a bunch of stuff off my computer because I thought it might run smoother and not give me all that jerkiness, but maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the jerk. All right. So it definitely doesn't have as light of a profile off the neck as the Weller Special Reserve. It reminds me more of the Antique 107 because I thought that the two compared, even though the 107's much, much higher in proof, I always thought that that had a harsher palate than the Special Reserve. And again, the proof is much higher. I get that. But this has got a little bit of that feeling to it to me that it just needs some time to rest. Just like for me, the Antique 107 needs a little time to rest before I'll enjoy it. This may be the same. It just seems a little young to me. Right off the neck, though. The other Green River improved just in a week's time. This one might as well. So I'm just going to keep going with it because I am getting some really nice notes. I do like it. Excuse me. Getting a little bit of like baked cereal, but mostly I'm getting those typical notes: the cinnamons, that blackberry's hanging on. There's some definite honey on it, and I do like it. I'm not going to tell you I like it better than the original. I think I like it differently than the original. I don't know that I want to stand them side by side. I like the mouthfeel on this one better than the original, right off the neck. The original got better. This one's going to get better too. I know it. I know it. All right, let's get into it. Put some water on it. Okay. So just off the tasting it so far, I would not put this in the same category as a Makers or a Legent. Those are both wheated bourbons. Makers I'm not a huge fan of. Legent I like a little bit better, but to me Legent has Larceny. Larceny has a little bit of a smokiness to it compared to other ones, like the barrel, the oaky barrel to me is expressed more in the Larceny than in the Weller or the Maker's Mark. I don't know that I'd call it smoked, but that's kind of the feeling I got compared to the Makers when I put them back to back. This one doesn't give me that profile of either one of them. Still, the mouthfeel improved, the flavor improved a lot. Still not to the Weller status, because the Weller is just soft and sweet. There's just nothing about anything. This Weller is so unique. But with a little bit of water on it, it gets a little closer. This I say without having them open. I get it. So the original Green River, there was a marked difference when I added water. This one, the marked difference isn't as strong, but there is a difference, and it did get softer and it did get a little sweeter. Those honey notes are popping out a little bit more. Still, those bread notes are there. Those granola type notes. It's not like the rye granola. It's a little different, like a sweet side of it. It's tasty. That honey is strong on it too. Put a little water on it, that honey comes right out. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Brian's watching. Hey, Brian. How are you, sir? Glad you're here. Spencer. Howdy. Yeah. Yeah. So, the Green River is an interesting experiment. People were telling me they like this one better than the other one. Again, I think I like them differently, but if I had to compare the two, I might like the original better than this one a little bit. But let's see what happens after I let this sit a week. Because, I let the original Green River sit a week, and then I went back to it a week later. So that's 2 weeks. And I was like, this is a really great pour. After not loving it as much, I liked it, but it just seemed thin to me. So I'm going to do this over ice yet, and then I'm going to let it sit for a couple of weeks, and then come back to it and see what I think. All right. So I wanted to show you this. This is kind of cool. Somebody showed me this, that if you store your ice sphere in one of those thick, big OHLQ bags, you can store it and it doesn't get all that frost all over it like if you put it in a Ziploc. And sure enough, it didn't get all that frost over it. It looks nice. And it didn't really melt all that much in the bag while it was sitting here. I didn't put it in the normal, Yeti type of thing. I put it just in the bag and pulled it out of the freezer and set it next to me. It didn't melt. So it's got some really nice, thermal properties. Insulating properties. How's that? I got told that from somebody. I thought it was kind of cool. All right. Hey, Brian. I don't know if any of you tried this one yet, the Green River Wheated. I've had multiple people tell me how much they like the wheated. I'm noticing that the store is selling out of all of them. I mean, they're moving well. I go into the liquor store and I see that they're moving well. I put my eyes on things. I look at things. I see things. I see dead bottles. All right. That got even softer yet. It's on ice. Of course it's going to get softer. But the viscosity grew a little bit more yet. The flavors went down. That normally happens. It doesn't always happen, but it happens often enough that I can say normally. So the flavors are definitely muted on ice, which is why I don't normally put my bourbon on ice. But it didn't lose its character. Some of those darker notes, the tobacco type of thing, they came out. The sweeter notes went away on the ice. So ultimately, it's a tasty pour. I think I like the other one maybe a little bit better than this one, but I'm going to let it sit. I'm trying to talk myself into and out of things. I just need to stop because I know I'm going to let it sit. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good, ultimately speaking. All right, so next week I'm going to do what I've been promising to do and I haven't done, and we're finally going to do it, and that's to taste the Knob Creek 9. It's a 9-year, it's 100 proof, and it's a shelfer, although this is one that's getting harder and harder to find. This one is now allocated by the state. A lot of places will only let you buy one. It's not coming into stores as quickly as it was. The rye is almost non-existent. When you see the rye, buy it, because it's going to go away really fast. The barrel-proof rye, you don't see it very much anymore. Knob Creek is just becoming one of those things. It's getting more and more hard to find, which tells me the price is going to go up. but that's just me being cynical. Knob it's a fantastic pour. And I've had this one before. All due respect to the product, I've had it before. It's been a little while. But it occurred to me that I've never reviewed the standard bearer Knob Creek 9-year 100 proof bourbon. So this is coming up next week. And I'm going to re-look at my schedule because there may be some other normal shelfers we're going to be doing. I'll either do them as a series or I'm just going to do them sporadically throughout. Like, I've never done Wild Turkey 101. I've definitely never done the Wild Turkey 101 rye. I've got a rare breed rye that I've never touched. And these are on the shelves all the time. This one was on the shelf all the time. And then people started to find out about it. Evidently, because like I said, now it's allocated by the state in a lot of places. So this is going to be our pour next week. So if you have a Knob Creek 9-year, 100 proof, drag it out. And if you don't have one, head out to the store and see if you can find one. Again, they're running a little bit on the rare side these days, like Michter's was for a while, but they'll catch up. It'll come back out again. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I am not. You guys have a fantastic, I'm sorry I'm so late tonight. I apologize. It's just the way things went. You guys have a great week, and we will see you again next Monday on Beautiful Bourbon with Knob Creek. You guys take care. Where's the button? There's the button.